All right, welcome to episode 1 of the Barnabas Show. As I said, this show will be looking at contemporary topics as it concerns us. We will also be looking at also how we can apply some of the lessons there. Now let's talk about Dangote. Some are of the opinion that Dangote is monopolizing the industry. In fact, the markets, Nigerian market generally. But let's talk of petroleum. Is Dangote a monopoly? Is it trying to monopolize the oil industry? What do you think? Now let's start with the definition of the word monopoly. According to the dictionary, monopoly is a market situation with a single seller controlling an entire industry. A market situation with a single seller controlling an entire industry. Now, can we say that Dangote is a monopoly? Notice that the Nigerian government actually sells licenses to refineries. That is to say, instead of refusing to sell license for people to refine crude, which leads to so much oil bunkering and illegal refineries, what the government has done is to legalize that. And so if you're an expert in the field or you are interested, you can go for registration, then you'll be given license to have your own refinery. And so today, apart from the Dangote refinery, we also have other refineries functioning in Nigeria. Just that most of them are smaller refineries. And they also have what they call modular refineries. But the most known of them all is the Dangote refinery, perhaps because of the size and what have you. According to Dangote, he spent $20 billion in establishing that refinery, which as of today, I think is the biggest in Africa, and they are working on making it the biggest refinery in the whole world. As we speak now, the Dangote refinery supplies petrol or fuel products to so many places like China, USA, and other European countries. However, for him to get to where he is, he has got to battle a lot of systems in place, both governmental and cartels. I want you to note as a business person, especially if you're in the oil industry, that most of the battles Dangote is fighting today, he may not be the ones who benefit at the end. He is clearing the road, but in the future, those that will benefit from these fights may not even know who Dangote is. The fact is that this is supposed to be a government project. The government is supposed to intentionally have their own refinery. Some time ago, NNPC claimed to have started work in Port Harcourt, Warri, Kaduna. However, later, people discovered that all they were doing was just refining the oil they already bought from Europe. Just refine it a little and then sell it out. They were not actually refining the oil, the crude. Now, going back to the definition of monopoly, as mentioned, it talks about a single supplier in an entire industry. Dangote is not the single supplier. He does not control everything from crude, refining, and selling. He mentioned it the other day that if he had wanted to be a monopoly, what he would do is set up his own filling station. And so he will refine, he will use his own tankers to supply, and then his tanker will supply to his own filling station that will now sell directly to customers. That is a monopoly. What we have now are cartels, other forces trying to stop him from having a functional refinery, trying to frustrate him, so to say, out of business. And what we see Dangote doing is to fight back. You cannot put $20 billion on the ground and then allow somebody to mess that up for you. And so we see him fighting in order to ensure that this investment yields something. After all, he's a businessman. It's not all about philanthropy. Thank you, Mr. Sam Jr. I appreciate the support. Now, let's look at what Dangote could have done if he wanted to go for profits. As mentioned some months back by the Vice President, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, Dangote could have invested his $20 billion into foreign companies like Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft. And all he has to do is to go to sleep. And the profit he would have made by now would have tripled what he will ever make in that refinery for years to come. And so it's not all about profits. The only thing I discover about Nigerians is that we are very jealous people. I think I can say that. Instead of being happy and supporting the man, some people just want to stop him at all costs so that they can tell him, we told you so. There's no how you will succeed in Nigeria. They did it to government-owned refineries. Time and again, millions, if not billions, were sunk in those refineries, and yet there's nothing to show for it. Different governments have come, they have all tried. The cartels have made sure it doesn't work. Years later, you will hear of other refineries that will come up because Dangote is fighting today. And these refineries will be able to operate without fighting the fight that Dangote is fighting today. Now, let's look at some of the fights he has fought. In 2008, Dangote actually was given the NNPC refinery, or bought the NNPC refinery from the then government. But later it was cancelled due to protests. They said no. And so he removed his hand there. Then after establishing his own refinery, the NNPC refused to give him crude for him to process or refine. He instead had to go to US to go and buy crude. As of today, Dangote will leave the crude in Nigeria because they will not give him, and go to US and buy from US because the NNPC in Nigeria sells to the US company. Dangote now goes to buy from US, brings it back to Nigeria and refine. This continued for some time until the president intervened and instructed NNPC to sell crude to Dangote. Dangote now accepts to buy it with Naira, but then he will pay them some dividends or some profits, so to say, that they could have made if they are sold in dollar. So in this way, Nigerian forest is being increased. But these individuals who are the helm of affairs are not looking at the benefits to the country. What they're looking at is their own pockets. And so what led to his latest fight with the NMPDDRA director or authority is that they still go outside to import petrol, which he has already on ground. He says that what he has can satisfy the needs of Nigerians. But this cartel says no, it will not satisfy. And so they give licenses, spurious licenses to others to bring in petrol, which is even below the standard of Dangote, just so that he will not have market to sell his own. And so, according to him, he made investigation and discovered that these individuals who were given licenses actually bribed the authority, or the man who was removed, or who resigned, whichever language goes better. And that was why he made it public. The truthfulness or otherwise of that will be proven by the authorities. I'm just trying to give us a picture of some of the fight Dangote has to fight in order for his refinery to continue or to function. Other forces he had to fight are Pengasi. Remember the war with Pengasi. What happened is that these individuals wanted to be part and parcel of the Dangote refinery, so that they can use their strikes and whatever to be able to shut down his company whenever they want. The man refused, and instead what he did was to post these people away from the refinery. He posted them or transferred them to other companies that are not even related to oil. These are other fights that Dangote fought. There are so many of them, so many fights the man has fought. So in a nutshell, for me, I do not believe that Dangote refinery or Dangote wants to be a monopoly. He is not trying to be a monopoly. And even if he's trying to be a monopoly and it benefits the masses, then what? What is wrong with that? Is it a sin? Is it a sin to be a monopoly as long as people benefit? If not for this Dangote refinery today as we speak, petrol would have gone above 2,000 naira, especially this December period. That is even if you see it to buy. And that is what many will like, so that they can be able to now use it for profits and the rest. But this refinery has ensured that at least fuel does not go above 1,000. So the other day I bought 840 from Bovas. In other big cities, fuel is selling below 800 naira per liter. And so if Dangote is a monopoly and it benefits the masses, so what? If you feel grieved, then can go ahead and open your own refinery and also start to monopolize. I want to hear from you in the comment section. What do you think?